Hey folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending November 24th. Everybody's wondering, how can prices get this high in York Region? Well, they're pretty high, and average sold price in the major cities is $2 million plus now. How can they get so high? Well, we know prices are a product of supply and demand is just higher than what it's ever been. And supply, well, we could use more of it, but there's way more people looking to buy than looking to sell, and it's forcing prices up. Where are all these buyers coming from? Well, I'm not going to talk about all the different buyer types, but I can tell you one big buyer type that's putting a lot of pressure on York Region prices is the Torontonian. It's the Toronto buyer. I have a friend of mine. He grew up in Etobicoke. His plan was to die in Etobicoke. He was going to be in Etobicoke his whole life. He started off in a townhouse, got married, had a child, moved into a small detached, then into another larger detached. And a couple years ago, we started talking about him selling. He's looking for a bigger place. Well, we decided that, or he decided more that if he was to renovate, a big renovation job, tear some walls down, open up some of the rooms, he'd have the space that he needed. And that's what he did. Did a beautiful job. The house was stunning, top of the line appliances, top of the line renovations, beautiful home. Fast forward 2 years to very recent, he decided it's just not giving him the space that he needed. Now, his home has a value right now of about $2.5 million, or when he sold it, it was about $2.5 million not long ago. To buy in Toronto, in Etobicoke, where he wanted to be, was going to cost about $3.5 million to get the space that he wanted. Now, it's not just house. He was looking for also more lot, more land, more backyard space. He wanted just a bigger driveway, the whole bit. He just wanted more to really settle down for his growing family. Toronto in Etobicoke was just too much of a jump. But he does have friends that live in Vaughan. I'm one of them. He does have friends living in York Region. And in visiting those houses, he started to kind of get the idea a little bit more and more that maybe this was an option. And with a little bit of research and looking into things, we sold his $2.5 million home in Etobicoke. He bought in Vaughan for much more than what he was even expected. More lot, more home, newer home. And that's what he did, and that's what a lot of people are doing. A lot of Torontonians are starting, especially with this whole health crisis and people wanting more space between themselves and the neighbor, people wanting more indoor space, more outdoor space in their own property, more cars inside the families now. It used to be there was one car many years ago. Now, average home will have 2 or 3 cars, 4 cars. They need more space. They're looking for something newer. They're looking for something larger. Vaughan is becoming, well, York Region in general is becoming more and more of a choice for Torontonians, and it's putting a lot of pressure. And those of us that live in York Region are thinking prices are really high. Well, it's a matter of perspective, because people coming from Toronto are thinking, wow, what a good deal. For what I sold mine for in Toronto, I'm getting double house sometimes than what I could have got in Toronto. So it's a matter of perspective where you think prices are. Let's get into the numbers. Just before I get into the numbers, just want to say, if you're looking to speak with me directly, we've made it really easy. In the description below, there's a link to my calendar. Just click on that. You'll see the calendar pop up. Book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time. I'll make sure I'm available, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind related to real estate. Let's get into the numbers now. We're going to talk about, first of all, condos across York Region, and then I'm going to get into the detached properties for Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. Condos, we sold 52 condos last week. Sales have been coming down over the last few weeks. It's kind of expected that activity slows down as we head into the holiday season a little bit here. Average sold price came down a little bit. It's now sitting at $707,000. It was $721, which was a record price for condos in New York region. So $707 is still way up there. When we look back, we used to be kind of mid 600s, and now we're sitting at over 700,000. Well, 707,000 is 26% higher than where condos were priced, or average sold price for condos were last year at this time. The blue numbers here are last year's sales at this time, and the orange is this year. And you could see that we've been buying or selling a little bit more than what we were doing last year at this time. But when we look at listings, we're listing a lot less this year than what we were listing last time. So it's putting more, when we look at the supply-demand equation, there's a lot more pressure on the condos and buying. And that's keeping months of inventories really low. You're looking at 0.7 months of inventory, with the average days on market being only 11. I'm expecting prices to continue to go up in the condo space, and if anything, they're going to increase a little bit more dramatically over the next 6 months. That's my opinion. Looking at the detached market, this is just for Vaughan right now. We sold 38 detached properties in Vaughan last week. 14 of those were at $2 million or more. Now, 38 is, kind of where we've been. Between 30 and 50 or so is where sales have been bouncing for the last 2 months. Average sold price is $2,025,000. Over $2 million average sold price. When we kind of take a step back and look at most of the year here, when we're looking at April and May, we're in the low 1.7. Then in the summer, we were in the high 1.8. Now we're 1.9 to $2 million in Vaughan to buy a detached property. Well, $2,025,000 is 30% higher than last year's average sold price. Sales-wise, well, we're pretty similar to what we were selling last year at this time. And listings, we're listing less. So there's more pressure, there's more demand, there's less properties available for sale right now. Months of inventory is sitting at 0.7, and average days on market is 20, which is quite high. There were some fairly expensive properties that sat on the market quite a bit, and that's brought the average sold price quite high. Looking at Richmond, sorry, not the average sold price, that's brought the average days on market higher than what it would normally be. Looking at Richmond Hill, we sold 34, so similar to what we're selling in Vaughan, and 14 of those 34 were at $2 million or more, the same that we were selling in Vaughan. Average sold price is now sitting at $2,105,000, really high, similar to what it is in Vaughan. When we look back for April and May, we were sitting in the high 1.8s. The middle of the summer is 1.8 to mid 1.9. Now for several weeks in a row, or several weeks, not necessarily in a row, but over the last, say, 8 weeks, we've been over $2 million 4 times. It's expensive. Prices are going up and up, and this is just what's happening, and it's, again, a matter of perspective where you're coming from, but that's what it costs to buy in Richmond Hill right now. Well, $2,105,000 is 35% higher than what it was last year at this time. 35% higher. We are selling similar to what we were selling last year, a little bit more actually over the last few weeks, but listings are also a little bit higher than what they were last year at this time. And months of inventory is sitting at 1.2, with 19 being the average days on market. So Vaughan and Richmond Hill are pretty similar. Markham is a slightly different buying experience. We sold 44 detached properties in Markham last week. 15 were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is sitting at $1,938,000, which is 45% higher than what it was last year at this time. Sales of the 44 that sold, 75% sold at list price or more. Listings are a little bit lower than what we were listing last year at this time, and months of inventory sitting at 0.7, with 9 being the average days on market. So Markham is a little bit more competitive, a little bit more competition when it comes to buying detached properties right now than what you'll find in Vaughan and Richmond Hill. Although Vaughan and Richmond Hill on average are more expensive to buy. Here's the summary for months of inventory. It's slow. It's still very much a seller's market. As we head into the summer, to the winter months, we can expect activity to come down a little bit. Let's not confuse activity being lower with prices being lower. They don't necessarily go hand in hand. We can see prices staying higher, going up, which is what we expect, and we can see activity slowing down a little bit. My name is Santo Sessa with RE/MAX Premier. Thanks for watching. If I could be of any help, please reach out to me through the Calendly link in the description below. Have a great day.